There's a number backyard farmers almost never calculate before switching to quail, and once you see it, it completely changes which bird actually makes sense for your setup. Every quail video online tells you the same thing: faster eggs, less space, less feed, no permit hassles. What none of them show you is what happens when you run the full year of numbers side by side, egg for egg, dollar for dollar, bird for bird. Some of what you've heard about quail holds up, a good chunk of it doesn't, and there's one factor near the end of this video that can flip the entire decision depending on something as small as your zip code. Stick with me, because by the end, you'll know exactly which bird actually fits your backyard, not the version of your backyard the internet assumes you have. Welcome to Farm Equation. This channel is about breaking down real farming decisions with actual numbers instead of hype. If that's useful to you, hit subscribe and tap the like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Let's start with the claim you've heard the most. Quail lay eggs almost 3 times faster than chickens reach maturity. That part checks out. A Coturnix quail hen can start laying in 6 to 8 weeks. A standard chicken pullet takes 18 to 24 weeks before her first egg. If speed is your only priority, quail win this round by a wide margin. You can go from chicks to a full laying flock in under 2 months, while a chicken flock has you waiting almost half a year before you see any return on the feed you've already paid for. For someone testing the waters of backyard poultry with minimal commitment, that alone makes quail tempting. But speed to first egg is only one part of the picture, and it's the part most content stops at. What actually matters for a backyard setup is total usable egg output over a full year, not how fast the first egg shows up. Here's where the math starts to complicate things. A quail egg is roughly a quarter of the size of a chicken egg. A healthy Coturnix hen at peak production lays close to 1 egg a day, adding up to somewhere between 200 and 300 eggs a year. A chicken lays fewer eggs on average, usually around 200 to 250 a year depending on breed, but each one is about 4 times the size. So if you're comparing total egg mass instead of egg count, the gap between chickens and quail shrinks a lot more than the quail lay more eggs headline suggests. In practical kitchen terms, you need roughly 3 to 4 quail eggs to match the volume of 1 chicken egg. If you bake regularly or cook eggs as a meal rather than a garnish, that changes how large your quail flock actually needs to be to replace what a small chicken flock gives you. Now let's talk about feed, because this is where the online advice gets the most misleading. Quail eat far less per bird than chickens, typically 20 to 25 grams a day compared to a chicken eating well over 100 grams. On a per bird basis, quail are cheaper to feed. But quail also need a higher protein game bird feed, usually in the 20 to 28% protein range, and that feed costs more per pound than standard chicken layer feed. So the savings aren't as clean as less food equals less cost. When you calculate cost per usable egg, factoring in feed price per pound and the size difference in eggs, the gap between chickens and quail narrows significantly. Quail still tend to come out ahead here, but not by the dramatic margin most videos claim, and if you're already buying chicken feed in bulk for other animals, that cost gap matters even less. Next, and this is the point almost nobody brings up seriously, lifespan and productive years. This is where chickens start pulling ahead. A Coturnix quail hen typically peaks in production during her first 12 months, and most keepers replace their laying flock every year to maintain output. Some quail live 2 to 6 years, but egg production drops sharply well before that, which is why most serious quail keepers treat them as an annual flock rather than a long-term one. Chickens have a longer runway. A healthy laying hen can stay productive for 2 to 3 years before her output really tapers off, and many hens keep laying at a reduced rate well beyond that. If you're building a flock for the long haul instead of restarting every 12 months, that changes the entire cost equation, because with quail, you're factoring in replacement stock, hatching or buying new chicks, and restarting the 6 to 8 week ramp up on a yearly basis. With chickens, your upfront investment stretches out over a longer productive window, which is the part the quail or cheaper argument usually leaves out. Space is the one area where quail really do have a structural advantage, and this part of the online advice holds up well. Coturnix quail need roughly 1 square foot of space per bird, and because they're ground dwellers that tolerate confinement, some keepers stack cages vertically to fit an entire breeding group into a space no bigger than a bookshelf. Chickens typically need 3 to 4 times that in combined coop and run space, and they don't tolerate the same kind of stacked, fully enclosed housing quail handle fine. If you're working with a small urban backyard, patio, or even an enclosed porch, that difference can be the deciding factor before you even get to the egg math. It also affects your setup cost. A basic chicken coop with run, nesting boxes, and predator proofing tends to cost more upfront than an equivalent quail cage setup, simply because of the materials needed to cover that extra square footage. Which brings up the legal angle, and this is where a lot of backyard farmers get caught off guard. Quail are often marketed as the loophole bird, the one that gets around local chicken bans, because they're classified differently under some ordinances. That's sometimes true, but it's not universal. Some cities and HOAs restrict quail exactly the same way they restrict chickens, and in certain areas, quail fall under game bird or exotic animal regulations that require permits chickens don't need at all. Before you switch your whole plan to quail because you heard no permit needed, you need to actually check your specific city or county ordinance, not a general blog post written about a different state. Assuming quail are automatically legal where chickens aren't is one of the most common backyard farming mistakes happening right now, and it's the exact factor that can flip this whole comparison depending on where you live. Noise is another point that gets oversimplified. Quail are often sold as basically silent compared to a crowing rooster, and it's true that male quail calls are much quieter than a rooster's crow. But quail aren't silent. They do make noise, especially early in the morning, and if you're in a tight suburban lot with close neighbors, that's still worth factoring in before assuming quail solve your noise problem completely. If noise ordinances or nearby neighbors are a real concern, quiet doesn't mean silent, and it's worth confirming what a covey actually sounds like before committing. Then there's predator risk, and this is where quail lose some ground that doesn't get talked about enough. Quail are smaller, lower to the ground, and in many backyard setups housed at ground level rather than in an elevated coop. Their main defense is camouflage, not flight, and they tend to freeze or hide rather than escape when threatened. That makes them more vulnerable to cats, snakes, rats, and even birds of prey. Chickens in a secure elevated coop with a run are generally easier to protect overnight, and they have more size and instinct working in their favor against smaller predators. If predator pressure is high in your area, quail require more careful, more secure housing than the simple open-air cage setup often shown in online videos. Climate tolerance is another factor that shifts depending on your region. Chickens are generally the hardier bird across a wider range of conditions, handling both cold and heat better with proper housing. Quail can handle a decent range of temperatures too, but they're more sensitive to drafts, dampness, and sudden cold, and getting wet in cold weather can be fatal for them without the right shelter. If you're in a northern climate with harsh winters, chickens typically require less specialized management to get through the season safely compared to quail, which need tighter, draft-free housing to stay warm. If meat is part of your goal and not just eggs, the comparison shifts again. Coturnix quail reach butchering weight in as little as 6 to 8 weeks, and their meat is tender and mild, often compared to a mix of chicken and duck with a gamier edge. But the yield per bird is small, somewhere around 2 to 6 ounces of usable meat, meaning one person can easily eat 2 to 3 quail in a single meal. Chickens take far longer to reach processing weight, often 16 to 20 weeks for standard breeds, but a single bird yields a much larger, multi-serving carcass. If chickens are your Sunday roast, quail are closer to a weeknight side dish. Neither is wrong, but if you're trying to stock a freezer efficiently, the math looks completely different depending on whether you value speed and turnover or yield per bird. There's also a nutrition and taste difference worth knowing if you're deciding based on what ends up on your plate, not just what's cheaper to raise. Quail eggs are more nutrient-dense gram for gram, carrying more protein and vitamins per ounce than chicken eggs, but a single quail egg has a fraction of the calories and protein of a chicken egg simply because of its size. You'd need roughly 3 quail eggs to match the protein of 1 chicken egg. In terms of flavor, most people describe quail eggs as richer and slightly more delicate than chicken eggs, which is part of why they show up more often as a garnish or specialty item at restaurants than as a breakfast staple. If your goal is feeding a family eggs every morning, chicken eggs are simply more practical in volume. If your goal is a specialty product for baking, garnish, or even selling at a local market, quail eggs carry a novelty and price premium that chicken eggs don't get. Breeding and flock replacement is another area where the two birds behave very differently, and it directly affects how much hands-on work you're signing up for. Quail hens lay unfertilized eggs regardless of whether a male is present, so if you want to hatch your own replacement stock, you need a rooster equivalent in the flock and an incubator, since quail aren't reliable natural brooders. Because you're replacing your laying flock roughly every year, This becomes a recurring task rather than a one-time setup. Chickens are more likely to go broody naturally depending on the breed, meaning some hens will sit on and hatch their own eggs without you needing an incubator at all. If you want a low-maintenance, mostly hands-off flock that renews itself, chickens can get you there more easily. If you don't mind running an incubator on a yearly cycle and want faster generational turnover for selective breeding, quail give you more control in a shorter window. Startup cost is worth breaking down separately from ongoing feed cost, because a lot of comparisons blend the two together. A basic quail setup, cage, waterer, feeder, and a heat source for chicks can be built for well under $100 for a small flock, and because the footprint is so small, materials cost less across the board. A comparable chicken setup, coop, run, predator proofing, nesting boxes, and bedding, tends to run several times higher before you've bought a single bird, mostly because of the extra lumber, fencing, and hardware needed to secure a larger footprint against predators. If your entry budget is tight, Quail lets you start smaller and scale up gradually. If you're planning to invest once and build a co-op meant to last a decade, the higher upfront chicken cost spreads out over a much longer usable lifespan for the structure itself. There's also a household and lifestyle angle that doesn't show up in most cost comparisons. Chickens tend to have more individual personality and are easier for kids to interact with directly, since they tolerate handling better and are less flighty day to day. Quail are flightier, more easily startled, and generally better suited to observing and collecting eggs rather than handling. If part of your goal is a backyard project the whole family gets involved in, that difference in temperament matters just as much as the numbers on feed and eggs. Some keepers running both side by side describe chickens as the more sociable Sunday project and quail as the low-maintenance production system running quietly in the background. If you're thinking about selling extra eggs locally, the demand picture is different for each bird too. Chicken eggs are the default expectation at any farmer's market or neighborhood sale, so pricing is competitive and buyers already understand the value without explanation. Quail eggs are still enough of a novelty in most areas that they can command a premium price per dozen, especially with restaurants or buyers looking for a specialty ingredient, but the market is smaller and less predictable than the steady demand for chicken eggs. If you're trying to build a small side income from eggs, chickens give you a more reliable, if less lucrative, per dozen return, while quail can pay off better per egg but depend more on finding the right buyer in your specific area. So where does that leave you? If your priority is speed, getting eggs fast with minimal space, a lower setup cost, and you don't mind restarting your flock every year and running an incubator to do it, quail come out ahead, especially in tight urban or suburban lots with mild climates. If your priority is long-term flock stability, larger eggs for everyday cooking and baking, more resilience to weather swings, a bigger meat yield per bird, and a flock that can partly renew itself without extra equipment, chickens still hold their ground better than most quail-focused content gives them credit for. The real answer was never quail are better or chickens are better. It's matching the bird to your actual space, your local regulations, your climate, your budget, and how you actually plan to use what they produce. And that zip code factor I mentioned at the start. Some cities that ban chickens entirely still classify quail as an exotic or game species, requiring the exact same permit, sometimes a stricter one, which means the quail get around chicken bans advice can actually be false in your specific area, even if it's true 3 streets over. Before you buy a single bird, spend feed money, or build any housing, that's the one number worth checking first, because it can override every other advantage either bird has on this list. A perfect setup on paper is worthless if the birds themselves aren't legal where you actually live. At the end of the day, this isn't a competition with one winner. It's a decision that depends on how much space you have, how much time you're willing to put in every year, what you actually plan to do with the eggs or meat, and what your local rules genuinely allow. Run your own numbers before you commit, not someone else's average backyard. If this helped you think through the decision more clearly, hit subscribe for more videos like this, and let me know in the comments whether you're leaning chickens or quail for your setup.